We're live. Welcome to the Star Wars Reporter podcast. I am your very hairy host, Wookie Steve. Along with me is the getting hairy Trooper Todd.
Recently trimmed. I can't compete with you. I tried there, Wookie, there, but I'm more like a dumpster kind of beard, so I have to.
Well, this took me a couple weeks to grow, so it was really long.
I thought you freeform it every week. So,
well, yeah. I mean, when I go out to the club, I braid it. It's really interesting. So,
absolutely, yes.
So, welcome everyone. We have kind of a, like the description said, a mixed bag of Star Wars stuff. Seeing that there's not a whole lot. Well, we were kind of going on a run with the Bad Batch, but now that that's over until 2022, we just kind of taking a more relaxed approach this week and doing, like I said, a mixed bag of Star Wars stuff here and there. And of course, as a really awesome Jedi Master once said about the Star Wars franchise,
this good feeling, which fundamentally Star Wars should deliver a good feeling, an uplifting feeling in you and your family, your kids, whatever.
Wow.
That is the theme. I love that so much. It's why I kind of on the picture for today, I kind of put that crown on his head, because I mean, that is exactly what Star Wars is. And, from what I'm told, it's pretty much what George Lucas said. I mean, this is where he got it from, mentoring under George Lucas. So just that good feel. And I think that we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to go over, we touched a little bit on Visions. We touched a little bit on the behind the scenes of Disney Gallery. So we'll kind of revisit that. We have some fun videos of Todd still seeking his Stormtrooper figures. Yeah. So there was kind of a series over was it the last couple of days, or was it over the weekend?
Well, last Tuesday,
chat.
Last Tuesday, I opened a box expecting it to be my Stormtroopers I ordered, and I was excited about opening up and showing them off, and it happened to be a box full of my wife's cleaning products. So yeah, so I was a little disappointed, and then more packages came out through the week. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll do some recording of it just to see if it turns out, and maybe we'll see those later on.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that, because as you were sending the videos to us over like 1 or 2 days, I was just laughing. I was like, oh, there's another video from Todd. Let's see what he got this time. So I was actually disappointed. I was hoping you were going to not get your stuff, just so I could see progressively you getting more and more defeated.
more and more disappointed. Yes, because last week I was quite disappointed. I was so hyped about it. I love Stormtroopers. I love getting new Stormtroopers. But I actually found a new one on the weekend that I actually bought. I can show that off later on too. After the videos. Yes.
But before we get started, just want to make sure that everyone knows to follow us on our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, for the latest news in Star Wars, check us out, StarWarsReporter.com. And we're going to go over a couple of those things today. And like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps you get notified and, makes us feel really good inside, because we need validation.
Everybody needs validation, don't they? Everybody just needs a little hug. And if you subscribe, click on the like button, it's like a big warm hug. In this time of pandemic and have to social distance, everybody can use a really good hug, right, Steve?
Man, I'm sending you to virtual HR.
Oh, well,
there's too much harassment.
With consent. Consent. Yes. Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm doing it regardless. All right. So we touched a little bit, I think, on the episode last week, and I just want to quickly go over what I'm really looking forward to, which debuts tomorrow on Disney Plus. It's the Disney Gallery, where we're going to get to have a look at behind the scenes of how they did all that amazing work at keeping everything a secret from fans. Let me just pull this up here. Behind the scenes.
Ooh.
So let me pull it up. So we actually covered this on StarWarsReporter.com. Check it out. Check it out.
You should check it out. It's awesome. It's where I get all my Star Wars information from.
Did you notice the theme? Got a good feeling about the new Disney Gallery Mandalorian BTS clip. So again, there was just a couple of pictures they released early. So it's premiering tomorrow. We'll go over the clip here. So that's what they're doing. They're going over last year's appearance of, they say young Luke Skywalker. Well, I mean, I guess he was. Must make Mark Hamill feel good. But it's going to reveal the best kept secrets of the acclaimed show. The story that, they're going to watch. So they're going to feature Mark Hamill, and everyone else involved is going to talk about the experience. And this tweet here, when it first happened, you could tell that he was so thrilled to have been given the Luke Skywalker that even he wanted, where this tweet says it all about The Last Jedi. So after it all premiered and the internet went berserk, it's an awesome thing. Sometimes the greatest gifts are the most unexpected and something you never realized you wanted until it was given. Hashtag thank you, John and Dave. And that was hashtagged for the longest time by everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing is, how can it not be, right? Like, everybody has expectations for the sequel trilogy, right? To have Luke Skywalker back. And really, what did he do? He did nothing, right? He did nothing except for roll over and die, right? So this is a great opportunity. And how can not, I think we all saw the reactions. We all felt the reactions. We know that it was well received. And just, it put Luke Skywalker back on the map. And it just made him look like everybody expected him to look like, right? We had Darth Vader at his prime at the end of Rogue One, right? So we never got to see Luke in his prime. This was an opportunity to see Luke at his prime, and just how spectacular was that, right?
It was awesome. Hey, he did not do something. He was drinking milk from a sea cow. So
yeah, well, I apologize. Besides drinking blue milk, or was it green milk? I can't remember now. But yes, it was. Yeah, and he did a lot of talking. He was grumpy. Those important traits of Luke Skywalker we have in the original trilogy. Wait, he wasn't grumpy. Well, whatever. New character development, I guess. I don't know.
Well, let's just have a quick look at a preview for tomorrow's episode.
This job is great in so many ways, and I think people think the job is great because we get to tell the story, because we do these effects, because we get these experiences, because we go to Celebration, right? But also great is just standing on the side and watching somebody. Again, like I said, I saw that child inside John that he experienced Star Wars. I sit there with Peyton. You see your crew just staring at Mark, and you realize they're remembering what it meant to them. And you realize that you've been a part of constructing something that's giving that experience to people, this good feeling, which fundamentally Star Wars should deliver a good feeling, an uplifting feeling in you and your family, your kids, whatever.
What's really great is the Mandalorian's done really, really well for him. And obviously, it shows when they got nominated for many Emmys, right? So the thing is, they can call it going back to the well, but they're not oversaturated. It's all new content, right? Where you're not feeling like it's getting overexposed.
Right.
Like everybody wants to know. Like what I loved about the first season was they had, being a filmmaker myself, wanting to learn. They had a round table with all the directors who took part in the first season. They just talked about their experience of working on it. I really hope they do that for the second season, because if you don't know, Robert Rodriguez is one of my favorite directors of all time, and he directed one of the best episodes I thought of The Mandalorian ever. I can't remember which one it was. It's the one that was Goku, a little stone. He was calling out to another.
Yeah.
Like that one was my favorite one. And I found out recently that Robert Rodriguez also directed some episodes of the Book of Fett.
Yes.
That's the episode, of course, where Boba Fett was really engaging with stormtroopers, was ultra violent, with the staff and breaking their helmets open, right? So, he'll bring a certain flavor to the Star Wars cinematic universe, and I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, and for those that are in the chat live, let us know what you thought of the appearance of Luke Skywalker and how excited you are to kind of to see this behind the scenes, right? Here's some of the here's some of the pictures here that they've released so far. I mean, we've seen a lot of this before. Actually, this is an older pic, but yeah, it'll be excuse me, it'll be really interesting to on how they kept that a secret for a year.
Like, isn't that amazing? The fact that no one leaked it, right? Like, because we all talked about, like, the last episode, no one knew what was going to happen, right? You assumed, right? You know, I remember the podcast, the episode before, and we're all theorizing who could it be, who could it be, who could it be, and then even when we saw the X-wing pull in, you're going, what, maybe, right? And you still didn't know, right? And then, yeah, just that moment when you saw the green lightsaber come out, right? You knew who it was, and it just, you know, the whole internet blew up right over that whole entire scene. Just the feeling and the emotion they got, right? Like, I'd be interested to see, like, I know we talked about, you know, maybe the animation of the face wasn't perfect, but, you know, still story-wise and stuff like that, was just amazing. I haven't heard anybody that was speaking negative about that episode ever.
No, and you know, there was a happy ending to the bad graphics on the face. Was someone who went and fixed it, got a job at Lucasfilm like right away. So that's kind of the happy ending. Plus, we got it fixed. You know, for those of you that could see well, like you, you got to see a fixed face.
I got exactly, and I should actually promote one thing, Steve. I should have actually sent you a link to it. But one great thing to talk about. Speaking of fans and stuff working on effects and trying to improve upon, I follow a YouTube channel called Corridor Crew, and these guys are special effects people, and they went in to pay homage to Star Wars. They recreated the trench run, like the trench run, the Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Yeah, but they did it all like in 1 week using different technology, and it was so amazing what they did. Like, again, doing the exact same things, the exact same shots, but just how it looks so much different. And there was a lot of people were saying the same thing. Oh, you better watch out, Disney might come and hire you guys too. But if you have a chance to check out Corridor Crew, it's recreating the trench run. It's pretty cool what they did. Just something you couldn't do back in the 70s. And they broke it down, like they broke it down what they did in the 70s and then what they can do nowadays, how it's so much different and how it's so much easier, but just how amazed. Again, it doesn't look like it does today, but they're so amazed seeing what they did and how they did it and how good it looks. It's just like, you know, so they're not putting it down and one-upping it. They're still talking about how amazing of technology and vision it was for this ILM to create this back in 1977 or 76, could have been a year before, but amazing thing. And they break it down so well. So if you have a chance, Corridor Crew on YouTube, check it out.
Yeah, that's always the dream, right? Like, I remember watching Adam Savage, right? The Mythbuster. He has a YouTube channel, and I watched a couple of his live streams where he was talking about his experiences at Lucasfilm and how he got to his interview. You know, his car broke down on the way. It was just like an absolute mess, and I'm sure he was late. But it took him forever to get this interview because he had friends that worked there who finally were able to get him into an interview. It's really awesome because it's people, well, you know, at his age or our age, where you grew up with Star Wars and maybe that inspired you to do what you do, right? Like with him, you know, to get into, you know, model building, special effects, and it was just really cool, right? So now he gets to where the Holy Grail is, right? Which is Lucasfilm. And then he found that dream. And I think he worked there for about 5 years. And then he just kind of did his own thing. I don't think he laid off. Anyways, I mean, it led him to bigger things and even greater access to Lucasfilm because he got famous in a different way and got to do this and that. So yeah,
Well,
it's great being able to follow that dream.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, how you just got to think of how many things it inspired, right? I'm pretty sure if you talk to Russo brothers who did all the big Marvel movies like Infinity War, Endgame, Winter Soldier, which I know is your favorite Marvel movie, right? You also did, like the Russo brothers directed those episodes or those movies. I'm pretty sure they talked to them. A big influence for them was probably watching Star Wars when they were a kid in the theater and being blown away, right? And so again, because Star Wars is all about visual storytelling, but again, having a sound story that keeps people interested, right? Great characters, good story, great special effects, all combined in one awesome thing.
Yeah, I really,
So looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to this behind the scenes peek again, because that's just really like every movie I watch and the movies I watch, I always try to watch. I'm on IMDb and I read all the trivia about how they made the movie afterwards, because that's just kind of my thing. I like to know, and just again, sometimes you can learn from it. Right now, I'm never going to be able to make a big Star Wars movie with a huge unlimited budget, but at the same time, as you're seeing what they're doing, you just try to incorporate techniques. And what I love with those pictures, you're showing how technology and the sets have changed so much. Like for example, the lightsaber glows, right? Because it's so important now, because special effects have evolved so much. It's very important. But if a lightsaber is you're using a lightsaber, it should emit light, so therefore it should reflect on smoke, it should reflect on the characters, should reflect on the floor, right? So that's where technology is changing so much. Like you see, it's not a real lightsaber. It's just whatever the lightsaber is made of, it glows, and it glows the color they want, so therefore it reflects light on everything: the face, the hood, the background, the walls, right? So that's how technology's changed so much when it comes to filmmaking, because it's more believable now, right? Where you watch the original Star Wars trilogy, I'm pretty sure if you watch, look at the prequels, you don't see that glow on the faces, right? Where the new sequel trilogy, when they're that, which is great at the end of episode 7, when you have Rey and Kylo Ren with their lightsabers together, that glow in the face, right? It just helped make that intense, just brought the intensity so much more, right? So that's why I really appreciate seeing the behind the scenes stuff and just seeing how it's evolved so much from just having before. I remember watching the prequels, it was Ben Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, Ethan McGregor and Christian, what's his name? Christian, the Anakin Skywalker actor is Christian.
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen. Sorry, yeah, thank you. But their lightsabers are just blue sticks,
right?
And they keyed them out, right? So that's how technology changed so much, right? So it's just kind of cool, just seeing all that stuff. I love seeing behind the curtain, right? Stuff you don't think about when you're watching a movie, because everything comes off so naturally. So I think it's a great idea to have these little episodes, get a chance to peek behind the camera, see what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I know we talked about this a little bit, and we featured it last week, but I just wanted to have another look really quick at Star Wars Visions.
Yes.
Which is also coming up too. So let's have a look at this trailer. It's their anime anthology. It looks really, really cool. Let's check.
Long ago, a great warrior came to this village and entrusted our ancestors with this. Its power and responsibility now lie with you. You've been guided by the Force since you were born.
At last, the moment arrives.
It's the first time I've confronted such darkness. Something ancient and sinister.
We're going to be a proper family.
Let's make this our best show ever!
コースと共にあらんこと。 accept this responsibility.
Just wow. Again, that's probably my fifth time watching that. It doesn't get tiring. I actually saw the original trailer, which it's all in Japanese, all the subtitles.
Yes, yeah, and it if my daughter watches it with me, she will only watch anime if available in the Japanese only.
My son, I said, son, you got to watch this trailer, and he commented lots on the art style, like a lot of the art style used, he really, really, really likes. So, of course, my kids are the same way. They won't watch the English dub. They hate the English dub. Although when I'm watching this, at least it sounds. Their criticism of English dub anime is the fact that sometimes the actors aren't. When you watch Japanese anime in Japanese, the actors are giving it their all, right? They're just so intense, where sometimes when it translates over to North American, it doesn't have the same intensity. It just sounds corny or whatever, right? But
yeah,
the dialogue on the trailer, I know it's a trailer, you can make anything sound good, but I really like the sound of all the talent, and it sounds like, it sounds believable, and it doesn't sound corny. But there's some things I really love. The episode, there's one part that I like, was when it looks like a guy has a staff, and it comes out, and all these lightsabers come up and it starts twirling around. That looks really, really cool.
Right. Yeah, some of the scenes like this craziness.
Just look how good that is.
Yeah,
it looks so good.
It looks, and the fact that they have such different artwork for each of the stories.
Yes,
I only grabbed a few here.
That one looks fantastic. That's the one where it looks like the blade's coming towards him, uses the force to stop it. It looked like looks so good.
Right. Now some of the stuff looks kind of weird, like kind of the whole furries thing, but it's anime. Yep. You just have to get.
Or the rock concert one where the guys floating. That's not the best show ever. That one looks kind of weird, right? But some of them look really intense, and I just it looks really good. There's another one with a girl and some kind of white outfit sort of thing, and she has her lightsaber and all the stuff wrapped around it. I know my son was very big on that kind of animation, especially the one where it's loading the lightsaber up. It's like he really liked that type of art style. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get him to be able to watch it with me. It'll be kind of cool just to get him to Star Wars that way. Maybe my daughter will be kind of fun. I'll watch as a family.
I know. It's still kind of hard. I'm just not even sure if my daughter that'll trick her into it, but good luck with you.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
That works. I just wanted to I talked about this, how you remember I was talking about how I missed out on getting that record Black series, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, because you didn't get it, right? You found it.
I found it locally.
Hey!
So there it is.
Nicely done.
I finally. So he's got a really interesting look on his face. I didn't pull him out of the package, but
are you going? Question is, Steve, are you going to open the box? That's the question everybody asks the collectors, right? Do you open the box?
I'm probably not gonna. I don't know.
See,
that's really cool.
I really I have lots now, and I'm like, oh, I really want to open so many. I've opened some, as you can see up on my shelf here, but I just. I really want to, but then again, the collector inside me says don't. But again, it's stupid. I don't know. I really want to open the boxes, especially the Snow Trooper, because the Snow Trooper is my favorite trooper. I really want to open the Snow Trooper so bad.
These are really. It's really cool. I went to the Walmart website. I think I was complaining about this with you guys.
You did. You were. Yeah.
I was so mad. I go to Walmart, and these are I picked this up for. In Canada, it was like $40 or $44. But the same thing on the Walmart site was $89. And it was almost like Walmart had their pricing system set up on supply and demand. It was like eBay all of a sudden. That Hunter figure I could get for $75, but it was $40 in the store. Before. And there was one figure, I forget what it was $120. For a $40, I just didn't know what was going on. I'm like, how are they pricing these?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm on like so I search. I got a few of these things at my local comic shop. These are my Godzillas. I love these things. I'm trying to collect them all. The first series. These are NECA brand, NECA, and they're just so great. They're all posable, right? So there's two I really want that I didn't get, which is Shin Godzilla, the red Shin Godzilla. And I also want to get the Godzilla 1984, which looks terrible, but again, I still want to get it. But you can't find the stores, or they're a couple years old now. So the Shin Godzilla originally, when I was getting all these things, were like $40. Then it was up to $80, $90. Now I looked up this weekend, it's 117. 117. So again, it's like you're saying, it's all supply and demand, right? It's like, whoa.
But it's not like a comic store or some kind of collector store, because I would totally get why they're doing that with the price and making it fluctuate, but it's Walmart. And it's just like so angry.
That doesn't make sense. But I know you're saying, 'cause I know I went searching on Walmart too, because I'm really trying to grab some stuff I can't find in stores, and sometimes I figure go right to the direct thing, get it mailed to your house, right? Because I can go to the store all I want, it's never there. Or you get some other collector who buys like 5 of them, and there's nothing left on the shelves. Like I keep when I'm going to the store, there's one character that's new. I went, okay, where'd all the other ones go? They didn't get one character. But everything's gone, right? So they're like, oh, I'm missing out on stuff. So I'm trying to find stuff, and I tried a Walmart site, and you're right, the prices were outrageous. Not only that, you have to pay for shipping and handling, right? Which is like, was crazy. Like in the store, like Walmart, like really, when I'm hunting here, I hate to say this, but Walmart is the best price for all the action figures, like by far. Like that EB Games, Toys R Us is very similar to EB Games, but like usually Walmart is usually like $1 cheaper than anything else that I've found.
At Toys R Us, sorry, Todd and I are in Canada. Sorry,
we got Toys R Us. Yeah.
Sorry about other people south of the border, but at Toys R Us, I find that their stuff will go on sale faster. So I don't know, and they seem to get the product in, because the Walmart, the shelves seem to be cleared out, unless it's those 3 guys that just come in and buy everything.
And that's why I think it is, because it just makes no sense, because Toys R Us usually has more on the shelves, but somebody's going to Walmart and just clearing out the shelves all the time. Like I also love to support my local comic shop. It's Curious Comics. You can find it at Country Club Mall here in Nanaimo. Awesome place to go. Staff is fantastic, but of course they don't order the volume in. So if I'm getting an action figure, if I'm getting a Star Wars figure, I'm paying $5 more there, right? But again, I like to support that store, and I usually buy my stuff from there. Buy local, right? And you support the small guys. But again, they can't compete to the Walmart. They don't get as much in, but Walmart has nothing. Usually EB Games, I have the EB Games and Toys R Us. I have the most, or is it GameStop now? Because they changed from EB Games to GameStop, I believe. That's the one I find the most success, where I can find more of the action figures, more variety and more numbers. You can sort through. But
speaking of, I just want to pull this up on the screen. This is a toy I'm sort of excited about knowing more about.
Oh yes, I saw this posted here today. Yes.
Yeah, it's the Rancor 6-inch scale line could add Jabba, so they could be adding the Rancor, according to the first reports from StarWars.com, and they're doing a what do you call that? A crowdfunding campaign. But I mean, some of the prices I'm hearing for this Rancor could be $400.
What? Then it would be bigger than 6. It would be bigger than 6 inches.
It would have to be big. I must have got the wrong one, but it would be very, very cool.
I know there's a lot of statues and stuff you can buy, the highly detailed ones that are usually in the 200s. I find a lot of stormtroopers or Darth Vaders or stuff. They're in the 200s range, 250, close to 300. But that still seems like I don't like statues. I don't know why I don't like statues. I like, although they don't articulate. They articulate, but they're in a box, right? So I don't know. I don't know why I prefer these over statues. I keep in the box, but it is what it is, right? So it's just I don't know why I don't like statues. I just like the action figures. I don't know why.
Speaking of action figures,
yes,
you've been on kind of a journey of heartbreak and excitement, and it started last week.
Last week, yes. I was given a gift from somebody for helping out somebody, and so they gave me a very generous gift, an Amazon card. So I had some money, so I figured, well, and they got me an Amazon card because they asked my wife what I like to do, and they said I like to collect action figures, and a lot of times I'll go to Amazon to find stuff I can't find anywhere else. And so I went on a hunt to try and find stormtroopers. I have, see, just count them up quickly. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 18 stormtroopers, and there's still some I don't have. So I'm always trying to find some hard to find ones. And things I was looking for was an original clone trooper, like not the colored ones, just the black and white clone troopers. Looking for an original, just the first version of First Order stormtrooper. Right. And then any other new ones I could find. So I found 4 and ordered, and I was all excited about them coming.
Right, and we actually saved the package. Like you told us long before the podcast last week, the package come in. This is what you thought it was, and you initially, which was really funny. I really love this. You initially said, like I'll open it during the podcast, and I was like, later on, we're like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. And then you sounded like you were second guessing yourself. You're like, because you really wanted to open it. Then you're like, oh, okay, I can wait.
Yeah, well, I wanted to open it so badly, and I did. And then he said, "Well, we open the podcast." So, oh, okay, I'll wait. Then right before the podcast, I remember, Steve, I talked to my wife. So, I got a package in. She said, "Oh, I was expecting a package too." Oh, so I didn't know if it was going to be for me or for my wife. And so, of course, during the podcast last week, I opened it up, and it was, like I said, cleaning products, Norwex cleaning products. That was not my stormtroopers.
That was so funny. Okay, so then what happened starting on like Tuesday? I think it is. You in our private chat with the other gang, you were posting these videos of packages you were getting, and you were opening them, live with us, like in the video. And I just want to play some of that if you don't mind, because I thought it was really funny. I think I got them in the order, so I'll just start with this one here.
Okay.
Cool. Just came in today. This is what I was hoping to do. I guess I should have guessed it's not a FedEx, it's an Amazon box. So I'm thinking today, this is at least one of the 4 I was expecting to come in. Ooh. Oh, okay, it's still pretty cool, but it's not what I was hoping for. But it's actually, it's the First Order's Flamethrower Trooper. Check out the flamethrower on this guy. Boom. Boom, boom. See? It's all backwards. But yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was pretty excited.
That's Happy Todd. That is Happy Super Todd.
One of 4 that came in. Again, happy. Wasn't what I was. You can tell. I was like, oh, a little happy got a stormtrooper, but at the same time, a little disappointed. Wasn't a clone trooper or First Order trooper. Yes.
Okay, and so then here's where reality smacks Todd here. Next package.
All right. Yesterday, I was very fortunate. I got a shipment come in from my Amazon order, and I got the First Order Flamethrower Trooper, which is kind of cool stuff. But again, I'm a big fan of the original stuff. Like just a plain old, here's a plain old original Stormtrooper. Although this is from the Mandalorian, but it's it's the basic Stormtrooper, which I'm a very big fan of. And I was looking for just a normal clone trooper. They're hard to find, and also looking for just a normal First Order Stormtrooper. They're hard to find too. But today, another box came in. Now, I know I've been looking for those ones, and I found them, but I don't know what came in here today. I ordered 4 troopers. I got the Blowtorch, First Order Blowtorch Trooper. Now I'm going to find out, did I get my normal clone trooper or First Order Trooper? Okay, open up this lid. Try one more time here. Open up here. Just want to share this with you guys here. I'm very excited getting troopers. So anytime I find a new trooper, I get pretty excited. They're releasing a lot of video game troopers, like video game stormtroopers that only appear in video games. They're making those into action figures now, which is kind of cool. Let's see here. What do we have here? Okay, box is opening. There's a lot of green packaging, little foam things. Oh, again, I've been duped. It's clothing. It's not for me even. I'm disappointed. I thought this was for
You can see the disappointment on my face because, Steve, I thought it was an Amazon box, so this is it, right? I thought for sure. I had no idea. Those are for my daughter, by the way. I had no idea my daughter ordered shirts. She didn't tell me to look out for them. And I was so, as you can see in my face, I opened the box. I had no idea. I was so disappointed.
It was very, very funny. So to tell you the truth, so with this last one here, we'll show it. I was actually hoping for more disappointment because it was way funnier.
Oh, I understand that. I thought I had to keep going. I couldn't stop now because I figured just my suffering was too much entertainment for you guys. So
it was so much fun, but a happy ending.
This time, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have some stormtroopers in here. Some form of stormtroopers. The question is, I don't know which one. I ordered 4. I got 1. Blowtorch First Order figure, which is kind of cool. Right? But I'm really hoping it's a clone trooper, one of the original clone troopers, or First Order Stormtrooper, because I like the normal ones, and they're hard to find, and I just like getting the normal ones. And the clone trooper, like, you see him on pictures, it doesn't do it justice. See him in the hand, you can see the detail better, and so hopefully, again, I don't know, these are the ones, it could be a video game one version, but we'll see. And I don't know if there's 1 in here or 2 in here. I should get scissors or a knife to open this. Not wasting anybody's time. There you go. Hopefully it's not a false alarm. Hey! We're in luck. I'm not disappointed this time. Alright, so what do we got here though? Oh, there's 2. We're looking at here is... yes, so this is, I said, mentioned the gaming greats. So they're releasing stormtroopers from video games. This right here is the Shadow Trooper from the game. What game is it from? It's from the Force Unleashed. So we talked about video games. The Force Unleashed is a really good game that came out. It's on PS3. It's on. Actually, I played the first one on the Wii, and then the second one I played on my PlayStation 3. Really good video game. But this is the Shadow Trooper. Pretty sweet. Like the detail, has got some like the highlighted blue sort of stuff, and his armor. I think there's like a little energy. I haven't played the game for a year or so, but that's kind of cool. But so now the next one's either going to be a clone trooper or a First Order trooper. I hope this was a mistake. Oh, very exciting. What do we have here? We actually have Attack of the Clones, a clone trooper. Just a basic first generation clone trooper. No colors on them, just black and white, the way I like it. I like that. The color ones are really, the color scheme ones are really cool too. Don't get me wrong.
There you go. So that clone trooper has been a holy grail of mine. One of the things I've been searching for a while to get. It was just like the original Stormtrooper was a holy grail, which I finally got. No, not the original. It was the Mandalorian one. But yes, the clone trooper was a holy grail, as well as the First Order trooper, which still has not made an appearance yet. Hopefully, in the coming days, I'll have a clone trooper too. But right now, I'm very happy.
The clone one looks so good, dude. I know, really love the way that it looks.
Yeah, it's right here. I'll just grab it for you here. Oh, that's not it. That's another one I found. All right, here it is, right here. Yeah, just nice and very simple, right? But again, like just right for the movie. Yeah, let me go full screen here.
He's awesome.
Right? Yeah, it's just look at it's got the big blaster. It's got the small blaster. Just the detail in the figures and the weapons. Sorry, and the weapons. I just find amazing, right? How small these things are and how much detail they can get in sculpting this small little things, right? So this was one of my holy grails. That's something I've been looking for probably the last year and a half. Just a plain old clone trooper. But I'm also really excited to report, Steve, on my journey. There's a nice little store, secondhand store kind of things. It's called Pyramid Games. They collect old video games and of course a lot of old action figures. And I went in there the other day and I found something really, really neat. It's very unique. It's the First Order Snow Trooper. I'm a big Snow Trooper fan. Maybe he's a general sort of thing. It's a Toys R Us exclusive. Where is it? Right here. Toys R Us exclusive. So it's kind of neat. It comes with the backpack's not attached, but it has a blaster in his hand.
Yeah.
I actually have sorry, give me 1 second. I'm gonna jump up here. I actually have the original snowtrooper of the same thing, but this is a commander. He's wearing the little red little vest over the shoulder, right? So
little shoulder thing, right?
The exact same things, but again, just a little bit different. And for some reason, I thought it was worth $25. That's actually cheaper.
Wow, that's really cheap.
So the price tag, thinking he had a price tag on it, said $25, and he scanned. He goes, "Oh, it's $44." Well, I said the price tag you have on it says $25, so you couldn't really argue with that. Or couldn't argue with that. So yeah, because a new one in the store cost like brand new on the shelf was like $32, $34. Well, you bought Wrecker, which came up to what? $40 with tax, right? So
yeah, like 44, something like that.
Yeah, so that's my kind of prize. And again, I can show you just a little more detail. This is the video game, the Shadow Trooper.
That's really nice. The packaging's even really nice. How his eyes are glowing.
I know, right? And so in the game, like I remember playing. This came the second game. These guys were the worst to play against. They were so frustrating. They were just so much more elite, right? So as the hero character, you play this Jedi, or you weren't a Jedi. You're trying to decide. Depending on your actions, you become a dark side or a light side sort of thing, depending on your actions, sort of thing. But yeah, they were really, really frustrating to fight against because they just, they were hard to see, and they come out of nowhere, and then boom, you're fighting against them, and they're shooting in the back all the time. Yeah. But again, just nice to add to the collection. Again, I haven't played a lot of the video games, but I do appreciate Stormtroopers and different variants of the Stormtroopers coming out because it's kind of cool. If you're a Trooper fan, like Trooper Todd is, it's kind of cool.
That's right. And I've been finding a lot of love for the Star Wars droids. So I mean, I did find that the probe droid a little while ago, but
which is sweet.
I'm trying to find myself a nice, like I'm going like to Etsy and trying to find gonk stuff. I really like that, or just like anything droids, right? But they're like few and far between, and the ones that come out, man, they're expensive. Like you're going back and you're finding them online, man. They're a killer out there. But I just kind of feel like the droids. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, those guys were awesome. I've only seen a Hunter in EB games, and it was gone, and I never saw it again. And I haven't seen anything come back. I haven't seen anything Walmart or anything like that. But in Toys R Us in town, there's a droid, and it looks so sweet. Again, I'm just not into the droids. Like you're more into the droid sort of thing, right? Like I only get the Stormtroopers or something in a suit, right? Like, but yeah, I like R5D4.
Oh yeah.
And he looks fantastic.
I'm like droids, X-wing, and Luke Skywalker. Like that's my thing.
You know how hard it is to find an X-wing? I would really love to have an X-wing.
I can't. This thing here I have, it's a broken one I found at it's like a Goodwill, and it's missing all the stuff, and I think it's from a series from like 95, 96, something like that.
Yeah.
There's some dealers in town. They have the 78 one that's like $200. It's just like I don't know, man.
I wish they just would re-release them, right? Like if they re-released them, I think they would still do so well, don't you think?
But if they released them in the same quality, because the new toys that came out from Hasbro, like Pose X-Wing and stuff like that, it was just like the plastic. There was something about it that just wasn't right.
Oh, really? Because
there was some complaints about, some of the ships coming out were kind of low quality with the plastic.
Well, I know. Give me a second here. I'm gonna take my headset off.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I showed this before, but like I got a Han Solo from the movie, the Solo film of TIE Fighter, and to me this is just it's so good. The detail, the plastic on it is top notch. Like I was really impressed. I got it for like $40 at Walmart. It was a discontinued thing because the Solo movie didn't do so well, right? But yeah, like it has the rocket chute, and if you press the button, do I want to do this? Let's see, I just got to remember how to do this. I don't want to. Yeah, that's how the rockets. That's how I shoot the rockets. And then there's right here. So you press this button, and it explodes.
Oh!
And actually, it has a TIE fighter pilot inside.
Wow!
Yeah. What's really cool? A friend of mine I worked with recently. I was at his house. We had a meeting, and I noticed in his living room on this big, huge stand, he has a TIE fighter a First Order TIE fighter for the 6-inch action figures. It's like massive. It literally would take up this much space. And so
Is that a legitimate one, or did he have it made?
no, he got it from Toys R Us. He said it was on the shelf at Toys R Us. His wife bought it from him for his birthday. Got it for $80 because it was being discontinued because no one was buying it because it literally would take up the whole entire table here. Like it was massive. Like, yeah, I think it's a scale.
Wow.
This is how big it is for a 3-inch figure. Imagine double the size. That's how big it was.
Wow.
And you could actually fit because the First Order TIE fighters could fit two people in it.
Right.
It was big enough for 2 people. It was massive, and it was so cool. I was very envious of the guy.
Yeah, you should have stole it. I mean, no, you know.
If he invites me, I did say if he invites me over again, if he's not watching, I might leave early, and maybe he doesn't have a TIE fighter anymore. He wasn't interested in selling it at all, and I would never. Viewers, I would never steal. Stealing's wrong. I would never do that. But I can be envious of him. I can be envious of him for sure.
So, I don't know if we have time for this. We last week after we went offline, you and Jason and I got all reminiscent about comics, and we were pulling some of the ones that we have out around us, and then we're like sending, or maybe that was me just sending pictures of the stuff that I found.
No, we both
had, and we got really into comics, and it was late, and so you had suggested, like, you had pulled some of your Star Wars comics out.
I did. I just want to
actually some more show and tell. I love it.
Yeah, well, actually, Steve, I just want to look at your shirt first. Your shirt you're wearing, the amazing Star Wars shirt you have, is based off they're based off of comic books. The comic books, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, and Luke Skywalker. Like it's so good. I love the style of the artwork there. It's fantastic. So what I'll do is I don't have a huge collection of Star Wars comics, but I do have a few right here.
Right.
Now, I would say 75% of these comic books came from my brother-in-law, who's 7 years older than me. So he was much older when Star Wars came out. So he started getting it. So one of the great things I got from him was actually this one right here. Issue number 6, of course, produced by Marvel Comics. This actually, issue 6, is actually the last part to Star Wars: A New Hope. So it's the conclusion of the movie. So let's try to get there. There's no reflection. So yeah, that's the conclusion to the movie. So it's not like the first issue, which is worth thousands of dollars. This is not worth that much. And of course, you can see the quality isn't so good. Again, this is not my original one. I'll show you my original ones where they've lasted much better. So, of course, so that was just kind of neat. So I have a whole bunch of random issues. Now I won't lie to you, I haven't read all these issues because I got from my brother-in-law, which is kind of neat. Here's a neat one I always found kind of funny. It's Darth Vader playing chess. We talk about like Star Wars doing stuff.
I've seen that one.
You probably remember as a kid, right? They go in the stores and see them.
That's one of the ones that I had. And I got it at a flea market, and my oldest daughter, when she loves Star Wars, took it from me, and it's somewhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of neat, you see this sort of thing. Like, again, we talked before about how we didn't like, things from our world moving into Star Wars. Well, here you have a chessboard. This is kind of weird, right? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they have, goofy monsters. It's like, oh, okay, there's a little tiger with a rhino horn on it. Okay, whatever, right? So
I like Luke fighting in his little award outfit too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that is kind of neat, right? I'll show that again here. The little award outfit they wore for the, of course, these comic book artists and creators were just being inspired from the movie, right? You have to understand, only the first movie came out, A New Hope, right? So they built these stories, and they were making up these storylines with these characters that, they didn't know much more than A New Hope, right? So it's kind of neat. But this is interesting. This is a really interesting part, though. As you saw for the original comic book, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had issue 6, which was the last part of the storyline. But this is kind of neat. So as you see, we go from this is the issue 37. And then I don't have 38, but I went to 39. Now this is where I started collecting them myself. Here's issue 39, which is actually the first part to Empire Strikes Back. Oh. So when the movie came out, they just kept the continuity going. So they actually based the movie comic book versions was just part of the series. So again, here's issue 1 of this is part 2 of the Empire Strikes Back, right? Then you have part 3, of course. This is the Millennium Falcon going through the asteroid field. Now, this is my favorite cover of the Empire Strikes Back right here by far. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
That's
Bosk,
really slick.
Boba Fett, Dangar, right? This is why.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted Dangar, like, because Dangar was one of if there's a trinity for the bounty hunters, these are the three guys, right? Like, quite frankly,
Yeah, Favreau and Filoni got to bring him in somehow. Oh, I
somehow,
mean, the
some
Book
way,
of Boba Fett, right? I bet you we're
absolutely.
going to see all these guys.
Absolutely, you would think, right? I really want to show you. It was really interesting because I was looking through the comic books today, sort of thing. So there was who was the artist? The artist I'm not too sure. It was Al Williams. Okay, he's pretty big in the comics, and the artwork's pretty good. It's based lots off of the movies. But I want to try and find a Dagobah scene because I don't know if you remember this, Steve, when we were a kid. Like, look, it's gonna be really hard to see, but look at Yoda's proportions. Look how small he is. So obviously, when they made the comic book, they had no idea what Yoda's supposed to look like. They knew he was small. They knew he was green. They knew he had like pointy ears. They make him look like an elf. Let me try and see. Do you remember this at all, Steve? Because we were buddies back then, and I remember looking at these comic books together. Do you remember that? We used to talk about we had the cards and stuff. Like,
I
so
know
like
the cards we were like that was
look at
my thing. I was kind of mental for.
Yeah, look at this panel. This panel's taken right from the cards. So obviously, there's Han Solo being tortured. There, right there. See him being tortured there in the bottom corner there.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's wild.
So basically, they just took the card. Even though I want to hear with Darth Vader, Lando, and Boba Fett talking, right? Like that was taken directly from the card. They just basically copied the card and put it in, right? So they did that lots in the comic book, but for some reason, they had no idea what Yoda looked like, which is really, really weird. I'm just trying to find another panel of Yoda here, where because he's just so small and just so funny looking. Another neat thing too I loved about this comic series is they had pinups. So at the end of every episode, every I keep calling it episodes, every issue, they had really cool pinups. Like check out the pinups. Look at that! Isn't that cool? Like there's the big heroes, and they got big artists from the time. Like that looks like it's Art Adams. That looks like it. No, it's not Art Adams. Who is that? My eyesight's not so good in the dark. But look at this. Look at this one right here. This is my favorite by far. Like look at that Hoth scene. Look at the detail. Like,
that's very
that's
cool.
the chicken walkers. But look at the detail of the Tauntaun stuff.
That is very cool.
Right. So these are like I don't even know what these things are worth. But there's another great. Look at the great panel here.
Look at see through that is so cool.
Right, so like these are hidden treasures that I have, right? It's just like, and here's again showing that they really have no idea what Yoda's supposed to look like. Although that's closer, much closer than the other version and the actual style. Again, look at this splash page right here.
Oh, the fighting! I love it.
Isn't that great? Yeah, so that's what I really loved about the Empire Strikes Back versions. They had all these nice little panels and stuff. And again, I just loved how it. Now this is really interesting. After the Empire Strikes Back series run ended, they just went back to telling. So here, for example, here's the last issue, the final part of the Empire Strikes Back. We all know what happened. Han gets frozen. Luke loses a hand, right? And then next episode.
I just love how small Luke is there, and I wonder if that's kind of like it's like a metaphor or something. That's like because that's how big Darth Vader felt to him when they were fighting.
Well, artistic. What's it called? Artistic. There's a word for it. I can't remember. License. There you go. The artists want to make Darth Vader look like a big bad guy. How do you make him look big and bad? You make him taller, right? So, and then so as you can see, it's issue 44. Then next issue 45. And then now it's not the movie now, which was really cool because at the end of Empire Strikes Back, what happened? Han's frozen carbonite, right? So all these issues don't have Han. Like all these issues, there's no Han. So basically the whole entire time it's Luke, Leia, Lando in search of Han. And there's other interactions with Princess Leia and Darth Vader, but this next issue I want to show you, Steve, is something I thought you definitely want to read. Maybe this inspired a film. I don't know. It's called The Last Jedi.
Oh yes, I've heard of that. You actually own that. That's so funny.
I do. So I thought you would appreciate The Last Jedi.
Oh my God, you dirty rats, eh?
This is the artwork is done by Walt all arts. Oh, Samson, really Samson. Like he had an amazing run on Thor, and he also had a big run on X Factor, and also on the Fantastic Four. So this is probably one of the best artists that ever worked on the Star Wars issues back in the 80s and 90s. So yeah, having him, this is where he kind of cut his teeth on. But look at that cover. Isn't that a great cover?
That is so cool.
Look at the
And 50 cents. How did we ever afford that?
I know, right? Like 50 cents. So it's kind of cool. So it just kept going on. And then one of my favorite issues I love this issue as a kid. And I'm just going to pull it out here because, again, I told you how it's all in search of Han Solo. So you got to remember. So it's issue 45 to now you're on issue 70. And you haven't had Han Solo in ever. But look at this. Boom. This came out and it's Han Solo's on the cover. I'm like, what?
Ooh, I really like that cover.
Yeah. Isn't it a great cover? This issue is amazing. Basically, it's a backstory where Han and Luke are out looking for Han. Luke and Lando are out looking for Han, and then they're going to some system, and they remember to flash back to their early days when they first met, and it has a great battle scene. I'll share with you guys because I just want to show the art. The art's amazing, but again. Sure. Loving stormtroopers. I'm sorry, this is taking so much time, but
no. This is the comic part of the show.
So this is kind of cool. Like they meet some friends of Lando's, not Lando's, of Han's, and that's not Greedo, that's Cheeto. His name is Cheeto, and he's got So they're just like a band of scallywags over here, right? They kind of team up what they trust, and they're looking for something, and basically. Of course, because they're all scoundrels, there's some double crossing going on. They knew the Empire was looking for them, so they kind of set them up. And then, of course, stormtroopers come, and look at this action in this panel here. So you have stormtroopers coming, right? Look at the big battle scene. And what happens? They're stealing the statue. The statue is prized by the alien race there of flying reptiles. And they want the statue back. Look at this. Look at this shot right here. I love that shot where Han jumps and saves Luke.
Wow.
But then you gotta see this. This is so good.
Really cool.
I know, isn't it great? And then look at this panel right here. This is this is art at its best. So you have these flying reptiles with spears coming, kind of like Ewoks, right? With spears and stuff. But of course, this is much bigger than Ewoks, coming down and killing stormtroopers.
Reminds me of episode 2.
Exactly. Yeah. And so there's right. So it's just kind of neat. Like
could I see the cover on that again? Because that reminds me, or maybe it's kind of a thing with Marvel Comics. It just reminds me of a superhero with a spotlight on him against the wall. It's just, I forget what that is. I know I've seen it.
Spider-Man. There's one with Spider-Man. He's on the wall. And he's got the spider light on him. Yes. And then the issue following that is basically when they get to the planet. And this is kind of neat because this one was really cool because they're fighting against Bosk and IG-88.
Ooh,
and this
IG-88.
Yeah, and they're of course they thought they were trying to track down Han, but it wasn't Han. It was not Greedo, but Cheeto. Of course, member of those scallywags at Han's old friends, right? So this is a great issue of IG-8 and Bosk in full action. So again, this is issue number 72, and there's Han and Lando right there. Right above the
remember that cover.
You would
remember that.
Steve, we were into the stuff. We were collecting comics. We were doing all kinds of stuff back then. I bought this at it was called what's that corner store right next to our house next to National Video. It was B-Jacks. No, what was that store called?
BG's or something.
BG's, yes. This is where I bought this at BG's right there.
Oh my God,
our corner store.
You have such a good memory.
And how much? This was released in 1983, 2 years. Right before 85. So,
You're old.
I am old, Steve. I am. So again, look at condition. My brother-in-law. It's in mint condition, buddy.
And this is yours, though. Yeah.
This is mine. Mint condition.
Kept in folded pages, and
so you have to be very careful putting inside the bags because I don't want the tape to stick to them and rip the cover. Because then it goes from mint to okay in 2 seconds.
Remember we were talking. I said I couldn't find it. They actually happened to be beside me. I actually picked up.
Oh.
See, these are the Dark Empire ones. I don't have number 1. This is when I was kind of in and out of comics over the years, but this is the Dark Horse version, right?
Yes.
People keep saying this would be a good series or a good series of movies that they could have worked on, right? Luke goes back.
Look how good that looks, man. Yeah. See, now we're talking about decades. What year did those things come out in? In the 2000s?
These are the 90s.
90s. Okay.
The 90s, right? Then they did. I think they this was like a re-release, Dark Empire 2. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's great covers.
Well, it
And
looks
then
like a
they
sequel.
kind of came out with classics. Like I was starting to pick this up in the 90s, right? Where they were
Okay,
doing
yeah,
classic
yeah.
stories.
Nice.
And this, I'm not sure when this came out.
A New Hope.
So did that
Oh,
be kind
that's
of
see.
A New Hope?
I mentioned before. That's Art Adams. Is who did the cover there? If you look on the cover, it says Art Adams in the corner, so or probably Adams in the. There'll be a little flag saying Adams. That's Art Adams who did the cover work for that. It's amazing. He's one of my
That's
favorite
very
artists.
cool. I think, geez, like Jedi Tales.
Oh wow, you got
Like
lots of
all
them.
these different. I mean, I like the ponytail. And then this, I always liked this cover. It was just kind of interesting.
Dark Lords of the Sith. Nice.
And then just like, I have to go through it all, but a lot of newer ones that are not like, I mean, yours are like memories. Like I'm sure
Wow.
Oh, that. See, before we went live, you showed me that. I remember that.
Right, Return of the Jedi. Here's I have, of course, these comics for some reason got released before the movies got released. So
Which is like the giant spoiler, man.
Well, absolutely, right. So the nice little cover of Darth Vader. Then of course
cool.
you have Han, Leia, Chewbacca on their Endor outfits, and of course then the ultimate Luke Skywalker, Emperor, Darth Vader.
I love that one.
Yeah, so this of course this was near the end of Marvel's run on Star Wars. These issues right here, they only made it their first initial run on Marvel to issue 107. So it was shortly after Return of the Jedi came out. The series died out in 1986. Because I think the Star Wars interest kind of fell off after the movies. The movie's over, so there's no more storylines possibly. So maybe there's the sales went down possibly. I didn't read why it stopped, but I'm guessing that's probably why.
Well, there was no more Star Wars, right? It was Star Wars was over. It was just like
nothing's driving it anymore.
And the books came out, and nowadays I'm more about waiting for graphic novels where. I'm not sure, you might know more about the industry, but if they're doing much of that anymore, it doesn't seem to be worth their money to be doing 12 issues and then putting it into a graphic. Are they just going straight to graphics now?
No, they're not. So they still release majority of the stuff they still release as individual issues because they make some good coin, right? You'll buy those issues. Then if you really like that series, you don't want to read the issues, you will actually go buy the graphic novel. I did that lots when I was collecting. I would actually go and buy the graphic novel so I didn't have to open up the originals.
That makes a lot of sense.
For me, who I stopped kind of collecting comics when my son was born just because it got expensive and
expensive.
Having a baby is expensive. So I collected lots of stuff. So I slowed down lots. So then from there I just grabbed the graphic novels storylines because everything, if it's really good, even if it's not really good, gets made into a graphic novel. And so that's what I've been collecting over the last probably 7 years, 8 years, probably 10 years now. I just collect certain graphic novels that I'm into that the industry's talking lots about, or people talking lots about, or I'm following an artist or something like that. It kills me that I'm not buying current Spawn issues. It just destroys me. We talked a lot about Image Comics and the Savage Dragon, Eric Larson's Savage Dragon. The comic book series I just love so much. I just
and they're in the hundreds now, right? Spawn is two something.
Spawn's at 312 or 317.
I know.
Eric Larson Savage Dragons in issues 302.
I think up to Spawn 50 or 60, and then it was like I said, it was at that time where I fell out of comics again just because of the price and stuff. Here's a funny story. You stopped collecting, right, because of a baby. My father-in-law, I remember my wife and them were looking through pictures, and there was my father-in-law standing beside this 68 or 69 fastback Mustang, right? Just mint. And that's the car he had. And then when they were pregnant with my wife's older sister, then he sold the car and got a real car, right, for a family, not this Mustang. And so I always say to my wife, you ruined his dream. After I saw that car, beautiful car. But anyways, that's what you do, right?
Sometimes the more mature person, they realize they have to grow up. So I grew up. I stopped buying comics. I collect the movies. I buy a movie a month, so it's what, $32, right? So it wasn't so bad.
Right.
But now that my kids have grown up, now I'm back
You
to
can start doing things
like
like
buying
that.
toys again.
Toys.
I don't open up the
Todd, they're
box.
action figures.
Wait.
Hey, speaking of, I wanted to.
Oh yes,
we were talking about this, and I actually found the comic cover you were talking about. So
right,
Jackson. So what was it? Episode or
I believe
sorry,
it was episode, I believe it was episode 8.
That's
of the
it.
original. They're right there. See, look at that. Episode 8 of Star Wars. So that was 2 issues after issue 6, which was the final part of A New Hope. So Jackson was introduced pretty early on into the Star Wars universe back in, that would have been what, 1977. Maybe it would have been 78 by then, but he's been around for a long, long time.
I haven't, and Disney now made him canon again because this is based on the comic that they had, Star Wars Adventures. But I remember first hearing about this like years later and thinking, what were they thinking? Like, I know, like the artists were trying to come up with new ideas or like, what would be weird for Star Wars in that universe? Why the talking rabbit? I never looked into it. What was in their head when they're like, yeah, let's do a talking rabbit?
Well, that doesn't make much sense because this is the simple fact that it's not our galaxy, right? And you've never seen a rabbit anywhere else. Why do we have a green rabbit that looks exactly like a rabbit? And does he have buck teeth too, Steve?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he does have buck teeth, right?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, definitely.
Like, so it's definitely a rabbit, which seems very, very odd, to make a character that's based off an earthbound creature when it's a totally different galaxy.
And it's Jackson, right? So like Jack Rabbit.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even put that together. Put that together. That makes it even kind of worse, doesn't it? Or does it make it better? One of those two things. That makes it way better or way worse. But he is an interesting looking character.
I mean, as soon as I saw this, I knew it was coming out, and I was in Toys R Us. Sorry, Americans, and walked by. I just grabbed this, and my wife's like,
"What are you getting that for?
You're buying a rabbit?" I'm like, "No." And I started to try to tell her quickly the story, and she's like, "I don't care.
I don't care. Just get it."
She's like, do whatever.
I don't know him. But yeah, my wife's a big supporter of me now. Like sometimes she goes out and I can't go out, and I know it's like I'll say, "Hey, can you stop by the toy section?" So she'll look by the toy section. She'll send me pictures of what's there, and I say, "Oh, can you grab that?" She's very good. If I ask her, she'll go to the toy section and she'll take pictures just to see if there's anything there for me. My wife loves me.
My wife would never nerd out like that for me. So yeah, well,
I figure if sometimes I have to go to the store and buy some feminine hygiene products, I think it's a fair trade. Don't you?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but it doesn't seem to work out that way for me. It's like, nah. So especially if I'm buying something like that, I always like saying, "Do you have anything?" Pretend it's for me. Do you have anything for a husky girl? And then because of me, but. Do you know, this isn't a comic, but it was just kind of in the pile. Do you know what I really loved growing up and even now are the these the technical manuals.
Oh,
right. I have several of them, and I just loved, looking at
the schematic drawings and stuff. Oh, they do.
So it has like the technical maps and stuff of, this is a skiff, I think. There's like X-Wing, and is this the one? No, it's the one I have with.
What I love with the Star Wars universe is the fact that
there's this actually Star Wars Galaxy, and the cover's demolished, but one of my favorite parts in here is they have kind of the map of Mos Eisley. And I think it's in this one. Maybe it's not. It's actually I think it's the Tatooine technical guide or something like this. And what I loved about it is it has the maps of Mos Eisley inside the cantina, so you know where everything's laid out, where you could see where Han Solo was sitting, where Greedo was killed, shot first by Han Solo, et cetera, et cetera. But I always love those things. I kind of like those kid history books where it was like old Rome, and then it would show inside the houses. I forget what that's called, where it's like half the house, and they would explain all these little things that are happening all over just a scene happening in Rome or medieval times. And I love reading those.
Yeah.
Or looking at a globe. My wife thinks I'm stupid, but
no, I know exactly what you're saying. Like one thing I always liked about those books too, which I didn't get any of them, but I think I remember looking at your place, was the fact that they had all the schematic drawings and you know how well thought out. Like back when I was young, I don't think I really appreciated it. I always liked, like you're saying, you'd have a wall, and they have like they'd make a little bubble so you can see through the wall what's going on inside. That was pretty cool. You got a bird's eye look. Well, you know what just popped in my head, Steve? I remember as a kid you having a Star Wars comic book. And I remember, maybe you don't remember, but I remember it was a Super Star Destroyer, and there's one of the captains on it, and he was being disciplined, so they said he has to do 2 laps around the ship, and it shows a Super Star Destroyer, and like how big that was. Do you remember that at all, Steve?
I think I remember the comic.
You thought it was hilarious, and you showed it to me, and I was like, oh, that is pretty funny. You thought it was hilarious. Now that would have been like, we were probably like 12 or 13, maybe even. Like we weren't that old. I just remember you showed it to me in the park. Remember you used to live in those apartment buildings and had the park in the middle of the wooden park?
Oh, yeah.
You were showing me there. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. We spent a lot of time there just hanging out talking Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah.
Like I remember we used to play Star Wars in my basement, and we used my sister's ringette sticks and lightsabers, and like we did so much stuff
until we got in trouble because one of those ringette sticks would get hit to the vents or whatever.
Whatever.
It was funny, but you know, I always like the arrangement. I mean, as far as I know, whenever we would play with the actual figures in your room, you always seemed to like the Empire, and I always liked the Rebels, so it kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
It was like, there's no argument, like, oh, I'm playing Luke. You're like, nah, I got Vader or whoever, I'm good.
The bad guys are always so much more. Again, I'm always drawn to the bad guys. Even as a kid, the bad guys for me is what made everything awesome. Like, Master of the Universe was so good because Skeletor looks so awesome, right? It's just, Darth Vader, like Star Wars is so good because Darth Vader is so awesome. That's why we had a discussion that you thought, how you think The Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie, where I think Infinity War is, because Thanos is so awesome.
See, and that's the thing. I love Thanos out of all those end movies. I know that they changed him in the movies from what his why he was actually doing it in the comic. He was trying to impress. He was trying to impress a girl, Lady Death, right?
Lady Death. Yeah.
This made more sense. I mean, it was like that whole typical. You know what he's trying to do. He's just doing it the wrong way, and I loved his attitude, and especially that scene right away where Hulk comes and there's like, oh, we got the Hulk, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
and he's like a toddler with him. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I remember saying to my daughter, I'm like, this is awesome. And she was shocked. I'm like, this is Thanos. Like, you have no idea what is going to come and stuff. And I do love him. I was watching Winter Soldier last night, and I just got to thinking about it again. The story and the message is so solid. And it's kind of like, if you can call a superhero movie realistic but still having that fantasy superhero feel to it in this world, and they're talking about freedoms and privacy and tyranny, and all this stuff's coming out about what's going on with SHIELD. They're infiltrated by Hydra, et cetera, and it just felt really cool. And character development, which we've talked about, was so strong in that. I think it was the best written stuff for Black Widow.
Yes.
In the movies. It was like her and Steve Rogers, and then Sam, but I mean, the other characters didn't overshadow Steve Rogers, but they were still seemed to be like part of the movie, strong with the movie, and it wasn't like overdone attitudes or anything like that. It was just like them living, and like Steve coming to grips with being 95 years old or something like this.
Yeah.
I always thought it was funny, right? He's talking to Sam and he's like, oh, you should check out this Marvin Gaye album. He's like, oh, he's got this list of things he's check out, and the Star Wars was already crossed off.
Yeah,
and it was like different things. I just thought the writing was so solid. And again, the message of, you know, tyranny and the price of freedom and stuff. And he would know that, being someone from that generation, right, that saved us from tyranny,
right?
Except he's like in today young and a superhero still, but he's still got that same mentality, and he's trying to be that voice in people's heads, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I just loved it. And then, you know, Bucky or Winter Soldier, that whole thing, oh, it's just awesome.
And I won't disagree. Like, it's probably the best. Well, it's probably the best storyline of all the movies. Absolutely, it's a fantastically tight, well orchestrated film for sure. And is it the best one? It might be, absolutely. Again, I just appreciate Infinity War. You know, you bring 60 characters into the movie and it works. It's again, to me that one has more emotion and stuff, so it just gets me going pretty good.
Thanos is awesome, but every time I mention Thanos in a positive light, my oldest will come from somewhere in the house somewhere and give me a dirty look because he killed Spider-Man.
My daughter was devastated when Spider-Man was.
I had to keep telling her, like, look, he's obviously going to come back. It's okay. Nope. For what, a year I had to.
It was from summer to. Was it a year? Oh man, I thought it was a year. Yes, from Christmas to Christmas. It was a whole year.
It was a long year. It was a long year. So,
but as your daughter must be excited for yesterday.
I don't think she's seen it yet.
Oh, the new Spider-Man movie trailer dropped yesterday. It got leaked, and so they had to release it. And I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, so it's you know, like lots of things I'm excited about when it comes from the Disney world. The House of Mouse is doing a lot of things that are quite good.
I think, you know, when I watched the trailer at the end, I was thinking to myself this one thing, and I know it's not going to be a popular opinion, and I know it's for the story. I'm sure it's going to connect somehow for a reason because it has to be done. Blah blah blah. Why can't Spider-Man be in a movie on his own? You know what I mean? First Spider-Man, who is in it with him, sort of.
You have Tony Stark.
It was Tony Stark. Who was in it with him in the second? Kind of Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. Well, no, he's dead. There's just Happy.
Oh, sorry, Happy, right?
Yeah.
And then now this one, it's Doctor Strange. I love Doctor Strange. I like the Doctor Strange movie. I wish they had come out with a sequel way earlier, and I know it's planned for what, like 2024 or
no, it's coming. No, they're shooting it right now.
Really? Is it on that? I thought it was like much later coming out.
No, it's in production right now. No, it has. But see, every Marvel movie now is going to have some characters bleeding over. Like even if you look at Captain Marvel, you know, the first Captain Marvel one, right? It had Samuel L. Jackson, you know, Nick Fury in it, right? So everyone's going to. It's now a universe, and you like comics, you can have characters intertwining. So to me, I just think it's epic storytelling, and you know, it just creates a big buzz, and you know, quite frankly, it's a great marketing strategy because everybody's, you know, you look what Loki did, like you look what Loki's television series did, right? Like just massive interest. You know, WandaVision was a huge success. You know, I'm sorry, the Winter Soldier. Sorry. The Falcon Winter Soldier, right? Like, you know, they introduced another 2 characters into the Marvel universe now, right? So there's just like what they're doing, just, you know, they're doing what, you know, what looks like John Favreau and Filoni are doing, right? They're really trying to create this universe which already existed, but now everything's tying together. They're tying Clone Wars with the Bad Batch, tying Bad Batch and
Yes.
Clone Wars to Mandalorian, right? So they're doing lots. And also, have you heard lots about, because Taiki Waititi, who's of course who's making the fourth Thor film called Love and
Yes.
Thunder, he's also apparently he's planning making a Star Wars movie too.
Yes.
Which is be very, very exciting to see
It'll
his take
be
on a Star Wars
interesting.
universe.
Yeah.
But again, he would bring a lot of fun. Talking about having fun. He would add a lot of fun to a Star Wars story of some
Well, his
sort.
episode of The Mandalorian was the one with the stormtroopers punching Baby Yoda.
Yeah. It was very, and he was the voice. He was IG-11 too, right? He did the voice for it. IG-11.
Yes.
So 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 it's just kind of interesting. Like you have all these people, like amazing filmmakers collaborating, but again, fans. Like we talked about this before about the sequel trilogy. Was it really made by fans? I think J.J. Abrams was, but we all know that what's his face, Ryan. What's his name? Ryan Johnson is not a fan, because
the one who was,
and then the last
name.
Exactly, right. And then of course, we have the last movie, which is just a mess. We're trying to blend two different storylines. Just a mess. But again, here you just look what Filoni is doing and Favreau's doing. Like, they're fans that love the stories that meant so much to them, and now they're expanding the universe to like they really missed our kids' generation.
Yeah,
they screwed that up.
Yeah.
They totally screwed that up. But
Yeah.
now they're reaching out to the new people now, right? So it's creating a buzz and a love for it, and rewriting. We're getting rid of those sequel trilogies and starting it fresh is not a terrible idea. And I think they're going to be, when the world starts going again, I think they're going to be releasing things in theaters, like the next wave of cinematic films. Star Wars, I think, will be quite amazing.
Yeah, I think his quote that we played at the beginning of the podcast, and I know some people will say, "Oh, it's not about making everything feel good, because then it's going to take away from the story, right? You're going to sacrifice your story and subverting expectations, and that's old-fashioned." And you can do all that and still make people feel good about a franchise that some people have grown up with for 40 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's funny where they say it's old-fashioned and you got to move on. Well, my kids, when they liked Star Wars, were like, 7 and 9, and their favorite characters weren't Rey and whoever. Their favorite characters were, I almost said Mark, were like Luke and Leia. Like, my youngest liked Leia, loved Leia and stuff. And it's so funny when she's seen a more recent, picture, or like there was some video with Carrie Fisher on it. My youngest is like, "Oh, she's old," because it was like she's seen like the original trilogy and it just threw her off. But so again, too, when you have a generation, like I told you how my daughter was acting when we were going to meet Mark Hamill that time, she's almost hyperventilating, and this is a 12-year-old today in modern times, almost hyperventilating for someone in their 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that saying? So you're right, and Filoni said it right, which Lucas said, it came from Lucas, and it is about feeling good. That's why the whole thing was, they were saying to Lucas with Return of the Jedi, right? The people helping them write it, they're like, Luke should die. And he's like, no, I'm not going to go down that route. That's not how I want to end this series, right? That's not how I want to end it. And again, it comes to feeling good, and it shouldn't be like making people feel bad at the end of it.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing wrong with having tragedy on the way, and there has to be there has to be some kind of loss. That's what makes it. You don't want, but effective storytelling is effective storytelling, right? Like just look at the Bad Batch, right? Like like there's conflict. There's hopefully there's gonna be a little bit more consequences, right? In the next season, sort of thing, right? But it's nice. It's nice to have some. You don't want to think they're going to blow through and not get hurt and unscathed, because that's no fun, right? So
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah,
but this was awesome. I like the random mix mash when we have to do it, and pulling out comics and stuff was a lot of fun. But I hope people watching really enjoyed themselves too. And again, I'm going to remind everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also make sure that you follow us on our social media. Of course, StarWarsReporter.com for all the latest news. And again, I'm going to end with the way we started. It's going to be a little different than our usual fun way, because I want everyone to be left with this message again.
This good feeling, which fundamentally Star Wars should deliver a good feeling, an uplifting feeling in you and your family, your kids, whatever.
Can't be that message.
All right. Thanks,
hopefully
everyone.
Hopefully I had a good feeling watching the podcast tonight.
I had so much good feelings.